Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I've got a guest, my dearest husband, and we're going to be sharing about our marriage. I get so many people who ask me how we do it, and because a lot of them actually saw our first year of marriage and it was crazy. You know how other people have like the perfect first year honeymoon phase? For us it was the opposite. Our first year was just the worst. So we're going to be sharing with you some of the things that helped us and some of the things we needed to change to make the marriage work. So yeah, without wasting time, let's get into it. So I'll start with you, Brighton. What are some of the things that you feel we had to change? Okay, actually, let's start from what we needed to do in our first year of marriage to actually make the decision to do something that would work for our marriage.
Well, okay. To begin with, I think the big challenge for us was, expectations that weren't, I think, as they are by definition expectations. They were not clearly communicated. I just expected you to do certain things and to know certain things. You expected me to know and do certain things without having to tell me, and so that caused a lot of problems. We were like, why you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, and we're both not telling each other, so we got into all these sort of problems. But I think the good thing for us, despite the challenges we're going through, was that we both sincerely wanted things to work. Like, you don't get married if you're not in love, and if you don't want things to work, you don't get into it looking to get out. You get into it looking to go the whole way. So that was good for us. And so with that, I guess, bearing that in mind, or that ethos within each of us, we took the next step, or eventually, and I must say I was quite reluctant, but grudgingly I accepted that, you know what, I think we need to go for counseling. It's not working. If you're doing the same thing over and over, getting a terrible result, change it. So you came up with the counseling idea, and I figured, you know what, let's just do it. What can we lose? And it turned out to be a great decision. So yeah.
Actually, before he continues this, to show you how much God works, is when I first approached him and I told him, let's go for counseling, he did not want. And instead of fighting him about it, I decided to pray about it. And the way God works is he just changed his mind. For me, it was actually the first sign to see that, God would really help me in my marriage. When they say seeking first the kingdom of God, ask God to help you in your marriage, I really saw it in our first year. So he then changed his mind, and I think what really helped us is we went to a Christian counselor. We decided we wanted to go to someone who did know both of us, so that they wouldn't have biased opinions because they knew me or they knew him. And I think I'm grateful that the person turned out to be a guy, because I think you would not have you would have not taken the advice would have been given, because you think probably
not a sexist, by the way.
Please.
But anyway, no.
Let's be real. The idea of another woman helping a man does not sit well with a lot of men.
But I guess for me, I was open to it. We didn't know, because when we went, we did not know which counselor we're going to get. All we knew, this is a Christian counseling center and we're going to get assigned someone. It happened to be a guy, and he made a lot of sense. If it had been a woman, I would have been at least willing to hear. If she was talking not so sense, then maybe I would have had a problem, but we will never know.
And I think what really helped us is this counselor taught us a lot. He started off by saying, Anna, write down your expectations of Brighton. And then Brighton had to write down his expectations of me, and we went through them one by one. So we realized in the process that some of the things were crazy. Like, he'd seriously ask us. I remember this one time, he asked Brighton, are you serious? Did you really expect her to do that for you?
Do not recall, or I probably was not at that session. So hey.
Are you serious right now? But yeah, so some of the things I think that helped us is, that really helped me, is I was loving him the way I wanted to be loved and not the way he wanted to be loved. like the whole love language thing, we learned a lot from it. He's a physical touch. I'm a, what am I?
Everything else.
You're lying. I want to see if you know. What am I?
It's a combination. You have like at least two dominant acts of service and time.
Yes, acts of service. Like for me, that's the best way to show me you love me. Like I'm not into gifts and
I had
everything.
to learn how to do dishes, how to cook.
Yeah, and like just when you're tired and you get home and he's done all that for you. For me, it's like, oh my gosh, he loves me, so that works for me. And the physical touch thing, I have had to learn, and I'm still learning because it's not my love language. But how this guy helped us is he made us see that is why it was not working, because we were loving the next person the way we wanted to be loved, and for the next person, it didn't communicate love. So it's so important to know your love language and to actually meet halfway. And I'm an extrovert. Brighton is an introvert. There are things I would want to do, like the going out. He was like, check, I want to stay home. But what I loved is he didn't stop me from being me. Like if I wanted to go out, he'd be like, okay, go out. You do your thing. Just let me be. So that has also helped us. And communication, I think... that one really changed a lot the moment we started communicating, because it makes so many assumptions. Like he talked about the socks thing. It used to drive me crazy. And you know what? When I got married, like when he wouldn't pick up after himself and everything, I thought he was so cute. And I'm like, oh, let me pick it up for him. Until it got irritating. Like, dude left his socks, and I'm like, goodness, what do I need to do? And then the toilet seat thing, and it was a lot. And not that I'm perfect, but I'm just saying those are the things that used to frustrate me. So what are some of the other things that we had to change from your perspective?
Yeah, I think the major thing was the communication thing, like you're harboring your expectations, I'm harboring mine, and I'm just assuming you would know them. And, again, like you said, I'm an introvert, so communication is not exactly something that just comes easily for me, and even when we are encountering problems, I usually, keep quiet and say, no, it'll get better,
oh
get
my
better.
gosh. I think that was the most irritating thing.
I thought I was still asking, but it's cool.
Sorry, Brayton, you can continue.
Now I'm playing, but yeah, like the communication thing, and I think even to this day, it's still something that I have to work on. I mean, it's a lot of effort, I always I will only say something unless it's really gotten out of hand. And I think maybe sometimes because when it's not so big a deal, I'll be like, hey, what's the point? But then when it becomes a big deal, I'm like, but why didn't you say anything? And I'll be like, because it wasn't a big deal. So it's one of those things that it's something I'm still learning to do, and I think sometimes it's better to address it as a small issue. Yes, I will get in trouble for raising it, but I get into less trouble. So, on the balance of it, it's not so bad.
And I think you humbled me so much. There's a time we were fighting, and I was like, hey, Brighton, you get this wrong. And you said to me, Anna, I'm not quiet because you're perfect, but it's me accepting you with your flaws, and that really touched me because I was one of those people who'd literally have a list of things to go and say, Brighton, you've done this again. This is the third time. But what has really helped us is the friendship. The moment we decided to have more of a friendship, it's been amazing. We have times we play, what's Chikodo in English? Yeah.
Just horseplay.
Yes, that pranks, it just keeps us going. Even when we have kids, sometimes my daughter actually says, you two, can you stop? But it really helps us because now, even when I'm mad at him, I don't go for longer than a few hours because I'm struggling. I need to call him and tell him, guess what just happened? So once we had the friendship.
In the middle of a meeting, but okay.
But once we established that friendship thing, it really helped. We started talking more. It was easier to talk about some of the things I was struggling with without feeling, oh my gosh, he's going to judge me. And he's been so supportive. What are some of the things that you've supported me with?
I think the thing that comes to mind is the homeschooling thing. That was something that was really on your heart, and you really said, you know what, I feel it's in the best interest. You've spoken to God. God has spoken to you. You really feel for the sake of our children, homeschooling them was the best way to go. And I was like, you know what? If God has told you to do that and you feel strongly, and I was like, you know what? Personally, I think it's a good idea. Yeah, public schools are not the world's best education anyway. And I think you're great with the kids, and it's proven so far. They've learned so much. The kids are developing at a faster rate than if they were in a formal schooling setup. So I really like that, that you've taken that on. I mean, yeah, you're doing great with the kids, so really thank you from me.
Thank you. So I know several people who say, how do you work together when you have your own career, you have your own goals, and someone else has their own goals? And I wanted to share with you how God has helped us. Like, God is the center of our marriage. I actually think, had it not been both of us having a relationship with God, it would have stopped working long back. But I'll give you an example where sometimes I'm angry with Brighton, and I want to have that conversation with him where I tell him a piece of my mind, and I pray about it, and God will be like, Anna, just let it go. Let it go. Like, even when I want to walk and I want to go and tell him a piece of my mind, a voice inside me is like, stop, you'll see it at the right time. And I'm like, God, this is not fair, And I think one of the things about Brighton is he loves it when he is right. Like, you won't hear the end of it. You always say, yeah, yes, I know I'm right. Like, it's his thing.
All lies, all lies.
Come on, Brighton. We're being honest here. But like, that has also kept us going in the sense that sometimes I'm too serious and he like jokes about everything. I don't know the last time I saw you angry. It really takes a lot for you to be angry. And then for me, I can be angry
an hour ago.
so many times in a day. And I think what has helped us is because our personalities are different and we're able to work together. Like, he now knows when he just needs to leave me alone, and then when I'm feeling better, he comes and we continue where we left off. But when it comes to our dreams and working together, a lot of people say to me, but Anna, you're a stay-at-home mom, your husband is working, what if he changes and it's his money, or what if he ends up with someone else and you'd have stayed at home and you wouldn't have worked on yourself? And I wanted to say that, everything in life is a risk. I don't think anyone can really tell what's going to happen in the future, but there's that hope of we are working together. Like, when it comes to his money, we do the budgeting together, right? Mm-hmm. And I know what's happening. Like, even when I want money, he'll show me, Anna, this is our budget. This is the money that we have. If you feel you can get something out of it, then you can. And some months, because I remember last year, So what I did, me loving shopping, we went to this shop, one of my favorite shops. I bought a lot of stuff and I knew I had exceeded the money he had told me that I needed to use. And then when we got to the till, I'm like, Brighton, I'm tired. Let me take the baby. Then you can do the paying.
I remember that.
And yeah, I won't mention the price of the things, but those are some of the things that happen. Like, it's not perfect, but we work together. Like, when we came here, I was ready to go back to working, pursuing my career, and then I found out I was pregnant. And the funny thing is, you actually accepted it before I did. Like, I was like, dude, I'm done having kids. And he's like, no, Anna, it's a blessing. And I'm like, well, you're only saying that because you're not affected. But the amazing thing is God works in mysterious ways. Even when we have one salary, he's always taking care of us. Like, I can share so many testimonies of how God has helped us. I'll actually ask Brighton to share one of some of the things that God has done for us, even though we are on one salary. Like, how do you balance things? Because I always get people who say to me, so how are you surviving? How are you able to get the things that you need on one salary? So maybe you can answer that.
Yeah, I think, you're quite right. I mean, God has been with us through a lot, ever since we got out here, and even before that. Mm-hmm. I think even before we came out here, we were together out in Mozambique, and that was almost like a preparation for what we were going to face. Because that was just, yeah, that was a
Yeah,
trying time. It
guys,
was difficult, and it was good that we grew closer together. And we're going through financial hardships, but we were able to grow closer together, and that was really great. Because when we came out here, things were tough and trying financially, especially. Like, you're talking about living off one salary, but God has just been providing for us. We were able to come out here together, move into our own place together, and then we were surviving on very little, but we were still, going. And we've gone through Mozambique, so things could never be worse. And then we came out here, and then God got me. Then I lost my job. Then I got a better job, and God just providing. When you think like, wow, and then like, oh, I can
Okay,
actually...
stop there. On the you losing your job, how is it for you? Like, did you ever doubt God? Like, because we had moved here and we're like, yes, you got a job in less than a month, right?
Less than 2 weeks.
Less than 2 weeks when you arrived. So a lot of people...
No, less than a month. Yeah,
less than a month, yes.
3 weeks, yeah.
So a lot of people struggle to get jobs when they arrive, but for Brighton, it was the opposite. He just got a job. We're in Brisbane, and then we moved to Sydney. He started a job. Then 3 months later, 6 months later, they did not extend his contract. And I remember for some time I actually blamed you. Remember when I was like, Brighton, I told you need to apply for another job, and you didn't listen to me. But guess what, guys? When Brighton got the next job, it took you how many weeks? 2 weeks. He got another job in 2 weeks, and it was almost close to double the pay that he was getting on the first job he had. So that just shows you that God was just working in our marriage, guys. Like, he literally takes care of us. Like, when our money runs out, sometimes he gets paid on a date that's not even, like, it's not even the end of the month. And then we just find ourselves having money. Like, he just takes care of us. And I think that's what has really helped us. We rely on God for literally everything. And for me, it's humbled me, because before I got married, I was a career woman. I'm like, I want to get my job. I ain't going to be asking any men for money, chichi. And then guess what? It's so humbling when you have to come to your husband and ask him. And then he'll be like, no, explain yourself. I think that was the worst for me. And that is one of the problems we had. We're like, why do I have to explain myself to Brighton that I need money for this when it's both our money? So yeah, but a lot has happened. I've grown in so many ways, and those are some of the things that have helped us in our marriage. But faith, our faith has been the biggest thing that has helped us. So a lot of people always ask me, Anna, is this you? Hey, we knew you from the first year, and then seeing you guys do all these things together. So hopefully it can help someone, But we also, I don't know, what would you say has also helped us? Oh yes, one of the things that has also helped us is we work together, even with household chores. Like, we do the cleaning, the cooking together. And even with the kids, we help each other. Like, Brighton baths our youngest every evening, no matter how tired it is. So we are always working together. It's not about, hey, this is the woman's job, this is the man's job. I think it has really helped both of us. What would you say about that?
Yeah, it's true. Like, helping each other. Because, to be honest, if you're a guy and you're in a situation like mine, or you're married, and you've ever, for whatever reason, had to babysit the kids for even a few hours, an afternoon or a few hours, let alone a day, if you're unlucky enough to get a whole day, you know just what a job it is. So, yes, I go to work, and yeah, work is straining, especially mentally, but not so physically, but it really can put a mental strain on you. But I do appreciate that, what you're doing back home is probably even harder than what I'm doing, as hard as what I'm doing is. So I really appreciate that. So when I come back, the least I can do is, just, I can do the dishes. That's nothing. If you're feeling tired, you haven't cooked once in a while. Well, okay, it's almost every time, but that's, it's not such a big deal. This is my point. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal, So those kinds of things, and it because it helps you, because I genuinely understand I would be tired if I was in your shoes. So it's the least I can do, and I'm not, and I actually find the stuff that I do around, the chores that I do around here, actually good. I don't mind doing them, it's fine. As a bachelor, I did that stuff for myself, so nothing's really changed in that regard, and I'm actually doing it, but helping someone and my best friend at the same time. So, it's a win-win, so hey.
Yes, that has really helped us. And what has also helped us is we continue to grow because, okay, I'll give an example of some of the things Brighton enjoys doing, which is writing his books. I enjoy helping women, and I've got a side hustle. So weekends he allows me to do my side hustle, and then he takes care of the kids. And yeah, it feels good to, have something outside the children, which I'm grateful for. So he at least allows me to do something outside the kids and him. And I always say it's important in a marriage to have something for yourself. Like, don't make everything about the husband, the kids, because it will drain you. But you need things that you do outside each other. Like, we're best friends, we get along, but we still have things that we enjoy doing that are outside each other. Like for him, he's like a YouTube person. Like, he's always listening to YouTube, he's always reading books, he's always doing his own thing, he's writing and stuff. So that's his thing. I have started doing the reading. Yeah, I'm trying to be like him, visiting his world once in a while, but it takes me forever. We actually once tried to read books together, but I take longer than him, and I guess it gets frustrating. But it is so important to do something outside each other and to have your own friends and to continue to grow. So raising children is no excuse for you not doing the things you love in life. You can make time for it. It's always important to fill your cup. You cannot give from an empty cup. Everything will frustrate you. I learned it the hard way, but it has really helped me. So hopefully this has helped you, and we'll do another video on some of the things we've experienced since moving in diaspora, some of the things we didn't expect, some of the things that were like, dude, maybe let's go back home. We did it several times, but we'll be sharing with you. But we hope that this has helped you. And if you are to take away anything from this video, is communicate, have a friendship, put Christ at the center of your relationship, and you cannot go wrong. I don't know if you want to add anything.
Yeah, be genuine. Like with all this, you can do all the communicating you want, but if you're not sincere, you can go for all the counseling you want, but if your mind is elsewhere, you're not sincere about the relationship, it's not gonna work. So that's one thing that, above all, you can't, it's not gonna work. And God cannot even work with you if you do not want to be worked with. So
maybe one of the things we left that is important is, when you have problems in your marriage, there's nothing wrong with going for counseling. I meet so many people who are embarrassed. You can't know it all. You need to read books on counseling. You need to, books on marriage, because it's something new, So like one of the best books is Love Languages. Who wrote it? 5 Love Languages by, what's his name? I forgot his name. You can check it out. It's a really good book. Yes. So get help. Also have couples that you look up, have a good example, that will, help you as a couple. Because if you're hanging around people who don't believe in marriage, who are like, I'm out, if he does this or that, I'm out, then you automatically also have the same attitude. So it's always important to have people who help you grow in your marriage. But until next time, thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoyed this. Do you want to say anything?
No, I think for now that's it, guys. Hey, enjoy. Hopefully it's always good to have a lot of good couples, who other people can look to for strength, for advice, and being molded in God or Christ like mold, where your marriage is centered around God. It really just strengthens our community and our people. So yes, please, let's just encourage that, and more couples like that, we have a better society.
Thank you. Bye.